If you have a desire to become a better version of your current self, then this podcast is for you. I share with you helpful thoughts, tips, and stories surrounding fitness and self-improvement which you can apply to your life today. So for those of you that want to take control of your life, to learn, to grow, to become that which you desire most, I am your host, Connor Malone, and this is the pursuit of constant improvement. In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you lessons that will help you become the type of person that gets up early and gets shit done. The type of person that can own their morning and elevate their life, which is the saying of the book, The 5am Club, which is going to be one of the main things I speak about today. I'm going to be sharing lessons that I learned from listening to the book, The 5am Club, and I'm also going to share with you my own experience in going from somebody that used to always snooze their alarms and sleep in late to somebody that now gets up before 5am almost every day of the week and has been consistent that now for over a year. So I'm going to be sharing, as I said, lessons from both of those. I'm really excited for these because early mornings have been something that I was always in denial about. I was never a, as you say, morning person. But until the past kind of year and a half or so, I never really understood the dramatic impact that getting up early can have in one's life, especially in the pursuit of constant improvement. So if your fitness, your self-improvement is something that you take seriously, this is going to help you thrive in those endeavours. Now I'm going to start off by explaining a bit about why mornings are the best, like why mornings are so superior. Getting up early in the morning is so much more beneficial than sleeping in late. And there's a couple of quotes from the 5am Club that I want to share with you. The first one is, the way you start your day dramatically impacts how it unfolds. Now you think about that. However you start your day will impact how it unfolds. If you start strong, you're much more likely to have a strong kind of current throughout the day. And I believe that so much through experience. If you start your day strong, you go into it with a positive attitude and you get shit done, you're much more likely to pick up some kind of momentum for the rest of the day, rather than rolling into the start of the day and kind of just scraping on by. One of the key things that is mentioned in the 5am Club is removing distractions and how that is key to high performance. So that's going to be one of the main things we talk about today, and how with your mornings, it's not just about what you do, it's about what you remove from your routine to allow that level of high performance. There's another quote that I love, and it says, waking up early is the antidote to average. And that leads me on nicely to my first point of today, and it's, think about the people you know, whether it's friends, family members, just anybody at all. How many people do you know that get up early, say before 7 o'clock, could be 6, could be 5, could be 4 o'clock in the morning, whatever time they get up. People that get up early and get after their day versus people that roll out of bed late. If you compare those two groups of people, now there's going to be a lot more people that roll out of bed and just kind of scarper through their day. Okay, why? Because it's harder to get up early. That's common. Obviously, you're going to have more people that do the easier option. Now, when we look at those groups of people, let's say you know 100 people that roll out of bed half an hour before work and then they just get to work and get their day started. Whereas you know 10 people that get up super early and they attack their day. They start their day strong. If you look at those groups of people and you look at the percentage of people that are doing well, that are successful within both of those realms, what you're going to find is the people that get up early, there's a much higher percentage of those people that are doing well. Now, by no means am I saying that if you get up early, everything in life is going to be great, you're going to be successful and it's the solution to everything. Of course it's not. But you look at the overall percentage of people that get up early versus people that don't. The people that get up early tend to be the people that do better in their own endeavours in life. Whatever they're pursuing, they tend to do better at. And today's episode is going to help you understand why that is. And to help you understand that, I'm going to share with you my story. Now, as I said, I've never been a morning person through school, through college. In school, throughout my full 6 years of high school, I was the type of person that got up right as they needed to. So let's say school started at 8:45, I live 15 minutes away. I would not be getting out of my bed till 45 minutes before I was due to be in school. I'd be getting out, I'd be rolling out of my bed. I was late every day, like every single day. I was always like that. So by no means was I naturally a morning person. Now that's a shite way to start your day. It's just not ideal. You're rolling out of bed. If you can get some breakfast, great, but most of the time you don't have time. I was always starting the day on the back foot. It was the same in college. Although I was studying something I liked, I was still getting up late. I was ending up getting late to college and generally just start my day in the back foot. Now, when I was at college, that was when I started my own kind of self-improvement journey, and I started to think more about the type of person I wanted to be. And when I started to think of that, I was like, right, well, the type of guy I want to be is the type of guy that gets up early and starts his day strong. It's not the type of guy that rolls out of bed and just kind of gets into his day and starts things late. He gets up early, he owns his morning, and he elevates his life, as the 5 a.m. Club says. So when I started to think of that, I was like, right, that is what I need to change. That's going to be a big thing for me, is changing my life. So I start to get up early and I start to maximize my mornings. I start to own my mornings, and that will elevate my life. So I'm going to share with you how I actually done that, how I went from the position of being somebody that was lazy in the mornings, snoozed all my alarms. I would have like 5 alarms set. I would snooze them, never got up on my first alarm, to now being somebody who I get up on my first alarm every single day. I wake up usually at 4:20, 5 days a week. I'll get up at that time. For the weekends, I'm up at 6, late at 7 o'clock. I'm always up early and I'm always starting my day strong because it's impacted me so beneficially. And I'm going to explain to you how you can do that as well. Now, the first thing is planning your day the night before. A successful morning starts the night before. Okay, so that comes from planning and preparation. So if you think of all the things that fuck up your morning, like you get up late, like for example, maybe you've set an alarm too late. Maybe you've not laid out your clothes. Maybe you just generally don't get out of bed when you need to. All that comes from the night before. So it could be a lack of sleep or generally a lack of preparation. That was the two things for me. So I was either only getting like 4 or 5 hours sleep, I was feeling like shit in the mornings, or I just wasn't laying out my stuff. I wasn't prepared for, like for example, I'd get up to go to the gym, but I'm like, shit, I've not got a pair of shorts, I've not got this, I'm not, just generally unprepared. What you're doing there is you're making it more difficult to do the thing that you want to do. We want to change that completely. So what we want to do is we want to get to bed early, we want to have our alarms set, we want to understand what time do I need to wind down by. So we're actually setting clear expectations in order to get up early in the morning. We're not just setting an alarm thinking, right, I'm going to get up early tomorrow. Going to bed, only getting 5 hours sleep, waking up and snoozing the alarm. Because the first excuse you're going to hit yourself with is, oh, well, you've only had 5 hours sleep, better get back to sleep. So you're going to make excuses up for yourself. One thing that helps it easier to get up early and plan the night before is having something to pursue. Now that comes the night before. It's like, right, what's my intention for the day? What am I going to do tomorrow morning? Because if you just want to get up early and do something, that's not enough. You need to have a set, clear list. Like, what am I going to do? Am I going to get up? What's my morning routine? Am I going to get up? Am I going to have my clothes laid out? Am I going to eat breakfast? Am I going to then brush my teeth, put my clothes on, and then am I going to go to the gym? Am I going to start some work? What is it you're going to do? What do you want from your mornings? Because not everybody needs to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't make sense for a lot of people. If you don't start work till 9, why would you get up at 4? You don't need to. But make it clear. What time do you need to get up at? Why do you need to get up? And what are you going to start doing? That's key. Now, the next thing is minimizing difficulty. I'd mentioned that already. It's a habits kind of 101. You open any page of Atomic Habits, you're basically going to read this. To make habits easy, we need to make them easy to do. Like, people are always like, oh, habits are so difficult, I can never do this consistently. It's because there's so many blockers and barriers in the way to do them. If things are difficult to do, of course you're going to be less likely to do them because it demands more willpower, more discipline, and we all have a finite amount of willpower. So what you can do is things like, for me, what held me back, I had to list, I was like, right, what stops me getting up early? First of all, not enough sleep. So I'm like, right, I need to get to sleep early the night before. So that was something that I had to plan. I got up and it was cold. As silly as that sounds, I was freezing. So something as simple as putting out a dressing gown, putting clothes there, right? Having clothes laid out, something you can jump straight out of bed and you can take action on. Whereas if you don't know where your clothes are, you get out of bed, you're like, it's freezing, but whatever. You're much less likely to go out. You need to remove that barrier, that blocker. And for me, that was literally putting a dressing gown at the bottom of my bed. So as soon as I got up, I grabbed it and put that on. So now the excuse of being cold was out the window. The next thing would be, oh, well, I've not got my bags packed for the gym. Oh, it's going to take me too long. I'll not have enough time at the gym. I'll just go back to my bed. Have your bags packed the night before. If you drive to the gym, put them in your car. Like, you want to minimize any distractions, anything that can make it difficult for you to do what you need to do, which in this case is get out of bed and take action. As I said before as well, have a morning routine, have clear intentions, have clear steps. What do you do when you get up? I get up, like for me, from my position, I get up, I put my dressing gown on. I go through, I've already laid out my gratitude journal on a pen the night before. I sit down, I do that. I'm semi-waking up, I'm basically half asleep from there. I'll put my oats in the microwave, I sit and do my journal while I do that. I'll then sit, I'll eat my oats, I'll scroll through my phone for 5-10 minutes. I get up, I get changed, I go to the gym. Those are clear steps. Okay, it may not be perfect, but it's what I do on a morning basis, and I know exactly what I have to do from there. Now, after you've done that and you've started to minimize the things that create difficulty, you need to slowly implement early mornings, right? You don't do this all at once. Because the great quote that summarizes that, it says, the smallest of implementations is always worth more than the grandest of intentions, which again comes from the 5 a.m. Club. And an amazing quote, the smallest of implementations. What that means is, because you can talk all you want. You can have the grandest intentions. You can say, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. or I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. 4 days a week, right? But you've never even done it once. So what makes you think you're going to be able to do it 4 or 5 times a week? The likelihood is you aren't going to do it. Now, the way I done this was through something called a high performance day. Because as you know, as I explained to you in the start, I used to always sleep in. I would get up like 20, when I was working, even when I first started as a personal trainer, I would wake up 20 minutes before my work. I would throw my stuff on and I would get to work in time. That wasn't good enough for what I wanted to do, so I needed to change that. The way I changed it was by bringing in something called a high performance day. Now, what this was 1 day a week where I got up at 4 a.m. Now, I'd never got up at 4 a.m. before in my life unless I was going to the airport to go on holiday, which of course is easier to do than getting up at 4 a.m. to go out on a run. Now, I could, and I did, say to myself many times, I'm going to get up at 5, I'm going to get up at 4, I'm going to go a run, I'm going to read before work. I said that hundreds of times. And guess what? I failed every single time because my intentions were too grand, they were too high. Whereas the smallest of implementations is what I needed. And that came in the form of a high performance day, which was once per week, where I said to myself, I wake up at 4 a.m. on my first alarm. There was no other days out of those 7 days that I got off my first alarm. Just that one day. I done that for over a year. Once per week, every single week. I never missed a week. I set an alarm for 4. I got up at 4. I chucked my clothes on. I sometimes even slept in my running clothes, right? And that may sound a bit weird, but it was effective. Again, it minimized that difficulty of having to get up and be cold and get changed. I slept in my running clothes. I got up, stuck a hat on from there, and I went out. I didn't drink any water, didn't do anything. I went out, I ran for 15 minutes. That was it. I wasn't expecting to run bloody 10 miles. I got out, I ran for 15 minutes. That woke me up. That got me so uncomfortable. So it allowed me to practice a great deal of discipline. And I'd done that for well over a year. Now, some of the benefits that came from doing that once per week was what changed big time for me was my perspective on getting up early. So 2 years ago, if you'd say to me, get up at 4 a.m, I would be like, fuck that. That's the middle of the night. There's no chance. Whereas to me now, it doesn't seem so early at all. It's what getting up at 7 a.m. was like for me a few years ago. It's early, but it's no different to me. It's a perspective shift. Because as long as I'm getting my 7 hours sleep, I don't care what time it is. It doesn't change. It's the sleep that's important. Now, if you're going to bed at 11 o'clock, you're getting up at 4, not a great idea. If you're going to bed at 11, getting up at 7, you can see there's a clear difference there. But if you're going to bed early, you're getting to sleep in, the only thing that changes is the perspective of it. So you're getting the same amount of rest. So the way I changed it, as I said, was through doing those high performance days. 1 day per week. I started with the smallest of implementations, and then I started to develop that. I didn't have this big grand intention of getting up early 7 days a week. So start small. Don't try everything at once. If you want to be the type of person that gets up and trains early 4 times a week, like I do, don't start it all next week. Do it once a week. Do it once a week. Continue the night sessions you're doing just now, but do it once a week. Do that for 4 weeks, 8 weeks. Do you know what? Do it for a year, however long it takes. Then your perspectives will start to change. Okay, when your perspective changes, it will make things easier. So again, start small with that. You can create your own high performance day. It could be waking up at 7 a.m. If you're somebody that rolls out their bed at 8, start waking up at 7. Go do some reading. Go a light run. Do something. Start with that small intention. That will develop. It will compound from there. Now, my takeaways from today's episode to help you become that type of person that gets up early, gets their shit done, and as the 5 a.m. Club says, own their morning and elevate their life. The main takeaways are, early mornings are where high performers are made. We established that in the beginning. A high percentage of people that get up early in the morning are high performers. And again, it's because they maximize their mornings through doing the things that we spoke about. One of the main things you can do, plan the night before. Another, minimize difficulty. And the other one, slowly implement those early mornings. When you start to do those things, it will take a longer period of time, but you'll actually be able to succeed at that. Again, you start with the smallest of implementations, not the grandest of expectations from there. The quote I want to leave you with today is again from the 5am Club. Every single one of those quotes that I mentioned today have been from the 5am Club. An amazing book which I would recommend to everybody. I listened to the audiobook version, and I've listened to audiobooks for about 5 years now, and out of it, it's probably in my top 10 now. It's a great audiobook, bit of a cringy kind of love story, but if you get past that, the information in it in a story form is fantastic. So I would highly recommend it. The 5am Club, it's by Robin Sharma. And the quote that I'm going to leave you with from that book is this: you become undefeatable in the world by what you do when no one's watching. Now, early in the morning, for example, when I was doing those high performance days, I never told anybody about that. I told maybe a couple of my closest friends. I didn't tell people about that for 8 months. Didn't post it on my social media for 8 months. Nobody knew I was up at 4 in the morning. Even when I started getting up earlier than that, I didn't share it on my social media for ages. Okay, it's what you do when nobody's watching that counts. So a really important thing you can take away from this is don't look at other people for praise and for approval and think, oh, you're great, you get up early. Just do the shit you say you're going to do. Do it when no one's watching. That is how you become undefeatable. It's something that I've experienced and I recommend it to everybody. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you've took even just one thing from today's episode that you can apply into your own pursuit of constant improvement. As ever, thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next one.